Assassin's Creed Origins takes us to Egypt, but it's wildly different from any Assassin's Creed game you've played before. Here to explain why and how it all works now is the person who reviewed it, Louise Blaine.
Hi, JJ.
Hello. Now, before we get started, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, and the footage you're seeing is from the Xbox One X version, so it's very pretty.
Super pretty.
So, Assassin's Creed Origins then, Lou, you say that it's a game that's full of stories that isn't necessarily like the main quest story.
Yeah, the amazing thing is that what Assassin's Creed Origins has done, and they've obviously looked at previous Assassin's games and gone, right, so people play Assassin's Creed for the story. No, they don't really. They play it for the stabbing and they play it for the sneaking. And what they've done is they've thought, okay, well, we're going to change that. We're going to make that different. So they've moved to a quest system, and the quests that are in there are little miniature stories, so it's kind of much more like an RPG. So while you've got the main campaign running through it, which is much, much stronger and better than anything that I think I've played there before, I actually cried. These mini quests are all these tiny stories of the people of Egypt asking you for help, which usually requires rescuing something or finding something, but they've managed to make it so that they actually feel like real stories than something where you just had to go and find X and do Y. There's something much more human about them, and they're all connected as well. So you start one quest and you'll probably come back to that person for a few quests down the line as well, sort of if you're in Memphis or maybe you're in Alexandria. But I think what I wanted to say about story was the fact that I have lots of mini stories, like the fact that I think I said in my review that one of the tombs that you're leaving through an underground passage, you come up in a swarm of really hungry crocodiles. So you're, this is all lovely, I'm coming through the water. Oh no, there's crocodiles, there's everything here. And I think you've got all these, so many different things can happen in such a living world, which is now got animals, and there's this sort of day-night cycle where everyone's busy all the time. So all of that means that you'll end up, I just want to go to Fayum. So you'll end up discovering regions at the same time as helping some rebels or being attacked by lions, or oops, there's a hyena, or what will I see over here? So you keep on making these little I hate the word emergent, they always use it, emergent gameplay, but it is what that is. The world spits out these situations at you and you need to fight them off. So I think for the first time, Assassins feels like rather than running from point A to point B over very pretty landscapes, you are still going over very pretty landscapes, but those can eat you and get you and potentially kill you and end up with arrows in your head on fire.
And I guess because it's a dynamic world like that, you might be coming out of that tomb, like you said, and be attacked by alligators. But also those alligators might not be there because they might not be...
It could be nighttime or they could be sleeping. So there's an ability in the ability tree which you unlock quite early, and I will say probably do it first as some of the quests require it, where you just hold a button and you'll pass time from morning to night. So if you want to go in a little bit stealthier at night, that's fine, you can do that. Or you can change it so that the sun's splitting the skies and everything looks super bright and super rich and alive. So the fact that you can change that for your own preference, but also you'll need to do it for quests. Sort of merchants will leave their stalls at night. So there's one bit where you need to follow some merchants. That's not a tail quest. There are no tailing quests. There's no opening up the world and saying, I have to find the gold target who I will then tail, who doesn't want to see me, like the kind of annoying drudgery. That's gone. It's just go to this place, do this thing, get involved with this world and go have fun with it.
And I think it's that everyone playing, like, you'll play the same missions as everybody else if you're going through the main story, but you'll have a different experience because different things will happen. It'll be a different time of day when you're doing it. There'll be different distractions for you to look at. There'll be different animals around.
Absolutely. And also the fact that maybe you've got to assassinate a certain person, but that person is currently being attacked by alligators. So that changes things somewhat when sometimes you get to a place and you're not quite sure if that person's meant to be dead or not, but all you have to do is confirm the kill. So there's these things called where you're avenging other assassins in the world, which not necessarily always your friends, just sort of random assassins from around the world. You'll find them on the map in a blue skull. It says avenge this person, and then you have to just find the thing or person that murdered them. So one of them I found was a guard that did it. Another one was literally a hippo that was just at the side of the side of the water. So all these things are like, okay, all of this is being discovered, all of this is changing, and whether they're alive or dead is interesting.
So it is a brand new, almost like RPG Skyrim-esque world now. So there's a lot of things that changed. The combat system has been totally overhauled. Like you say, tailing missions have gone away. All of the stuff that was irritating that people would say was irritating from the other games is being ironed out now. So the combat is a totally new way of fighting.
Yeah, so previously the combat was more a case of waiting for someone to hit you and then queuing up with one button and then managing to hit a counter button and you'd kill everyone. That is not the case anymore. You bring up a shield with your L1 or your left bumper, and then on your right shoulder buttons are light attack and heavy attack. Which, when it comes to the type of enemies you'll be fighting, it's actually really good because they're holding shields. You're going to need to break those shields with hard attacks. You need charged attacks for some of them. There's an overpower thing where you go all yellow and smashy and angry, which when your adrenaline gauge is full, that's when you sort of implement that. And I will say that combat-wise, it took me a few hours to get used to. I have been hammering that square button for 10 years now, and now it just dodges. So it's a case of once you get used to it, you then realise that the bigger and stronger enemies that you're up against, you're going to have to think about not just the type of combat you use, but also the weapons. So you've got things like sickle swords, which became my favourite thing, and then you've got dual blades, or you've got a spear or a sceptre or a giant axe, and all of these are dropped as loot in the world, so you can choose exactly where you want to go, who you want to kill, and how you want to do it. So you could do that thing where everyone goes in stealthy but accidentally ballses it up and everything goes to hell. You can do that with just lots more weapons. And I think another thing about the weapons is you'll find them in loot across the world. So there's chests everywhere, and they come in 3 varieties. So you've got your basic, which is blue, your rare, which is purple, and your legendary, which is yellow. So not quite Destiny, but almost. And your legendary weapons have exciting perks on them, so they can go on fire, or they can be cursed where you've lost 3/4 of your health, or you can have a shield that puts people to sleep or poisons people when you block. So there's all these really fun extra tools that are just kind of like icing on the cake. They're just these really nice fun additions. It was already fun, the combat was already cool, and then there's all these extra bits where you realise, oh, you're poisoned now, I can just kind of leave you to die and go on to the next person. So it's really different and amazing.
Okay, and they've also taken a lot of hints from other Ubisoft games as well. So you've got the Far Cry style, like gathering and hunting to upgrade your gear, and also camps that will be very familiar to people who play Far Cry.
They will be very familiar. I don't think nobody is reinventing the wheel here. This is kind of, we know Ubi make great open worlds, and what they have done is taken bits from those. So you've got these amazing Far Cry style camps where there are maybe someone to rescue or rebels to find, or each one has its own set missions. So you want to kill a captain and a commander and loot some treasure, and that will complete the outpost or complete the camp. So you go in there, but you can sort of maybe clamber up a nearby tower. Maybe there's a fire source there. Maybe you can light your 5 arrow bow on fire, and maybe you can start picking off people from there. And maybe you can hit your arrow off a cage, which will release a lion, which will then cause extra chaos. So you can play with them in all these different ways, which you simply couldn't in an Assassin's game before. It was either stab or be stabbed, but now it's, I can watch everything on fire. So it's chaos time. There is Far Cry elements, which mean that running across the open world is really distracting as well, because you're like, oh, there's a heron, I need that for this, or oh no, that I can need leather and I can use this, because you've got like 5 craftables. You've got your hidden blade, you've got your bracer, you've got your chest plate, your quiver, and these all need, and your tool belt, and these all need upgraded, so you can basically be a Terminator and hold as much stuff as possible. Right.
Okay. Well, let's move on to some of the story aspects of it. So no spoilers, but no. What is the Bayek? What's Bayek like as a character, and how is that all?
So Bayek is a Magi. He is basically one of the protectors of Egypt. So that he protects the values of the Egyptian people. And there is no spoilers here, but a thing happens, and he and his wife then have to sort of go on this quest where they then become what we know as the Assassins today. That's no secret. But the nice thing about Bayek is he doesn't have that oh poor me hero aspect. And also, Bayek and Aya are married, which is really interesting, because normally married couples in games isn't really a thing, because someone's always dead and there's always the sadness. But they are very much together, and they are equal in the sort of, they're both kind of assassins. They both kill people. There's this violence there. There's this everything with Cleopatra and trying to take back control of Egypt. They're kind of intertwined in that, and it's all about reclaiming power. And the really refreshing thing about Aya is she's just like Bayek. She will, she's angry, and there's this kind of passion there, and the fact that there's this relationship between them as well it's a really interesting dynamic that I've never really seen before, and hasn't really, and especially in Assassins, it's never really felt quite like this.
Okay, so moving on away from the story, we've got other side things to do as well. So not only are the camps and all of the things to collect and all of the crafting elements, but there are secret hidden tombs which are like sort of mini puzzles.
Yeah, you have these tiny puzzles, and the nice thing is that you can ignore these, but why would you want to? Because inside the pyramids is obviously there's treasure, and there's puzzles, and there's weight puzzles, and you want to find, in each tomb there's a stone tablet to find, and there's obviously quite a lot of loot in these rooms as well, so you're going to find good gear down there as well. But it's just exactly how you wanted ancient Egypt to be. It's full of mummies and tombs and sand and scarabs, and there's this. The soundtrack's amazing, and it probably builds as you go under. You light your torch and you sort of head down and through the spider webs, and they light up as you go through. And there's this amazing atmosphere as you're going down. So there's lots of things hidden that I don't want to spoil under there. This isn't an Assassin's game which is just, hey, here's 1 billion collectibles, go get them. There are collectibles, some of them do run out, but they are all things in the world that you're going to want. You're always going to want the loot, and you're going to want the secrets that come. So it implores you to go deeper without feeling like I have 100 feathers to collect. None of that's there this time.
Right. And finally then, the modern day element is there, but you don't have to do it.
Yes. Well, you do have to do it, but it's over very quickly. It's not, and you could spend as much time in it as you like, and I'm not going to spoil it. It's great for, if you're a big fan of the AC lore, then you're really going to like it. If you're not a big fan of AC lore and you're literally just there for the hoods and the running, that's fine too. You can jump back in the Animus, but I'm not going to spoil that for people. And one more thing I want to say is the photo mode is probably the best photo mode that I've ever played with, only in the fact that you can see other people's photos. So all you need to do is press the right and the left stick. You will go into photo mode. It's kind of like Instagram, kind of like everyone else. You go through your filters and stuff, but they then appear on the map. So you can look at other people's pictures across the map as little images, and you can then heart them, or if you wanted to not heart them and be unkind, then that's fine too. But I literally think everyone is going to spend far too much time in photo mode. So enjoy the game and enjoy photo mode.
Nice. So overall, what are we giving Assassin's Creed Origins?
We are giving Assassin's Creed Origins 5 stars.
Okay, that's our review of Assassin's Creed Origins. Let us know what you think about it in the comments below. Click the boxes on the left for more content from us, and don't forget to hit that big button in the middle to subscribe for more gaming news, reviews, previews, tips and guides right here on Games Radar Plus.